imagine just living your life with the fear of just stepping outside your front door. Just take a few moments to realize and often think about, if you even think about stepping out the door, what dangers it could harm you. If it could harm you just stepping outside, how often do you really think about that? Well, today I'm just going to talk a little bit about that. Alright, the people I'm talking about suffer from a disorder, and it's called hypogammaglobulinemia. Okay, and what this disorder is, it's an immune system disorder. So the patients that are born without this don't have an immune system, so they can't fight off intestinal infections, just regular bodily infections, or even just a common sneeze from somebody else. So it can actually harm them very well. Most of us don't really think twice about our plans for the day, but unfortunately some of us just leaving the house, like I said, does put their lives at risk. Some of the things I'm going to speak about are the symptoms of this disorder, and the treatments and the rareness as well. So I will also share I will also share the steps and the process that it takes to actually, for these patients to get the medicine that they need to actually survive. Okay. So some of the symptoms, like I was talking about, are just respiratory infections, intestinal infections, and actually growth retardation. It can actually make them not grow, maybe mass. They'll be skinny. They can actually get pneumonia very, very easily. Bronchitis and actually sinusitis at a higher frequency and a higher rate than anybody else can. So, like I said, just a common sneeze from across the room, it can actually get them very ill. Okay, so if the person doesn't have their medication, which they are actually required to do once every 28 days, or in some other cases maybe once a week, maybe every Friday. And these are just some of the things that you will need to actually go through with the IV. And what the IV does is it actually puts the missing immune antibodies back into the body so that it has enough energy to fight off viral infections and such. So this is called lidocaine. What this does, you actually put it on the back of the arms here, and it will actually numb it, so you can't really, feel, when the needles actually do go in your arm. So that's placed on there, and then the needles are in fact actually plugged into this pump. Okay, in which the medication here is actually placed into the pump, like so. Okay, and it runs through the hoses and actually does go into the arm. And it does take anywhere from about 3 to 8 hours for it to actually go into the system. Okay? Alright, there are actually no cures currently for the disease, but doctors are working on better ways for the antibodies to actually stay in the system longer. And it does actually depend on like I said, the person. If the person gets sick a lot easier, they'll have to have the medication quite frequently. If not, maybe just a little bit less, okay? Alright. And I also talked about earlier the rarity in this disease. Actually, only 1 in every 50,000 people actually do it, okay? Do have it. Males are more likely with the disease to have it. Females are typically the carriers, okay? The lifespan only ranges for the individual that does have it for about 25 years. And actually in the first 10 years of life, it is found that the person does have the disorder. Alright, and the disorder presented does actually have effects on the individual itself and actually in the family. The family does actually have to be there for the individual because it is a very, 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 it can have effects, the individual can actually be very upset at times. So it is important for your family and to have the strength of the Lord. It does require that. So I have not mentioned it, but now I will. My brother does actually have this disorder, and he's now 11. He was actually pronounced dead on the table, but he is now currently living with us. He does get his medications every Friday, and he is actually doing very well. He does not go to public school, but he's actually homeschooled, and it's keeping him very well. So, he just keeps getting his treatments, and by the Lord's will, he will be doing better. So I thank you for actually attending, and I thank you for listening.